How's it going, everybody? So today I wanted to talk about another hot topic, which ties into Real Talk number one, which was about should indies ask for promotion. Now today I'm going to cover the topic of are indie creators obligated to promote one another or promote indie comics, the indie community? These both have spurred from, again, a lot of tweets that have been kind of being thrown around on either side of the aisle. And my official stance on this is I believe indie comic and novel creators should promote one another. Now, from what I'm seeing, a majority of folk actually agree and have the same stance. But sadly, a lot of that is being twisted and kind of contorted to the extreme, to where anytime anyone says indie creators should promote one another, they're taking it as, oh, they're demanding it. They're saying that indie creators are obligated to promote one another. Now, let me, I guess, give some context to the should. Now, essentially by definition, right, should would equate to a recommendation, a suggestion, right, something I would like to see. For example, someone writes a great novel and a friend comes to them and says, hey, you should create a comic companion. Well, typically, that person that wrote that book would be like, oh, well, thanks for the advice or the suggestion, right? Very few people would take that as a demand, like, you're forcing me to create this comic. And unfortunately, this is what happens on social media. People take everything to the extreme and say, oh, no, he said he's demanding this other creator or other creators promote people. And in reality, that's very, very few people that are saying that or are saying that creators are obligated. Now, I think creators should promote one another because in the indie sphere, all we have is one another, right? Unfortunately, we cannot, well, we can submit to literary agents, right? Comic book companies, but unfortunately, the work is not going to be judged based off of its merit these days, right? It's not going to be based on the content or the quality. It's going to be based off of characteristics and things that really have nothing to do with the story. We all wish it was like it was 20, 30 years ago, where you could just submit your work to a publisher or an agent and have it be judged fairly. And if it's judged to be good, then it would get selected and then you would get paid. You would make royalties and you could just work. You could just focus on writing more and more and more. That's not how it works for indies. We have to create the product and then we have to also market it. We have to find the artists. We have to commission all the work. We have to pay ourselves, right, at least some of the costs, and then hope that crowdfunding will get us the money back, right, and maybe make a profit, to which then, in most cases, goes right back into the new project, right? You have to start it all over again. So it shouldn't be very hard for people to understand that, you need help as an indie. You can try to do everything on your own without any advice or help, but it's going to be extremely tough because you're wearing so many different hats. You're limited on funds and you're limited on time, right? Because most of us have a 9 to 5. We have families. So again, unlike when you could get traditionally published, you could get paid to continue to do your work and focus on that as your 9 to 5, essentially. Now, for the few folks that are saying that creators have a moral obligation to promote, I don't necessarily agree, but I also don't take issue with that stance. Reason being, it's coming from a good place, right? They want to see the indie community grow, and they want to see people helping one another. And I think that's coming, from a good place with good intentions. Whenever I see creators promotion and helping others, it's like, man, that restores some faith in humanity, right? People out there do want to help others. They don't just care about themselves. And let's be honest, a lot of times, if you help someone, there's a good chance they're going to help you back. So from a marketing perspective, it's really smart to promote others. It really is. And, when creators join the scene or fans start saying that, well, I don't need to promote others, or it seems like those people are only in it for themselves, then it can't be a surprise when other creators question that, right? Or make an observation on that. And most people are making very tame observations as such. Just, hey, it's kind of strange that that creator gets promoted by a lot of people, but he doesn't promote others. And they probably ask themselves, well, man, should I keep promoting them or buying their product, for example? And, in the indie community or, CG specifically, right, that's kind of been the norm of people propping each other up, helping each other out. And that's what's made a lot of these crowdfunding desires and wishes lucrative. And it's allowed people to actually bring their creations to life was because, this culture of promote one another, help one another. And it's sad to start seeing, some fans and creators pushing for the opposite or defending, I guess, the opposite mindset. I don't see how anyone could take offense or have an issue with someone saying, hey, I'd like to see more creators promoting one another. If you want to counter it and say, hey, yeah, it would be nice to see, but it's not an obligation, then that's a good counter. And then people can just agree to disagree. But when people are coming back saying, oh, you're demanding it, you're a commie and all this nonsense, it's like, first off, you don't even understand communism if you're saying something like that. And no one is saying, hey, let's tie this person down and force them to hit the retweet button. No, we're just saying it would be nice to see. And a lot of times it's also a suggestion because you want to help that creator. Sometimes, and it could happen maybe more commonly with larger creators or ones that are already entering the space with success and other endeavors. They feel like they don't need every single backer. They don't need to do promotion streams as much. And at first that may seem true, but over time, if there's a reduction in sales or a drop off in backers, buyers, whatever, then you're really going to wish, right, you still had all those people promoting you like they were initially. You're going to wish that you had better optics because that's what it comes down to, really, right? From a marketing perspective, it's optics. If I see a creator out there not only making a great product, busting their ass, but also promoting others, I'm like, man, that person's awesome. Like I want to help them out and I might just back their book, right? But on the flip side, if they don't want to help others and they have the mindset of just helping themselves out, again, you lose one backer here, one backer there, so on and so forth. It's a snowball effect, and it is in the opposite direction as well. You promote one person, they promote you, they retweet you, and then their followers see your project. You gain some buyers. Those buyers do reviews. They get you more buyers, right? It's smart, especially from an optics standpoint, to care about the community. Yes, I will call it a community or the indie scene, not just to help other people, but obviously people, you're in it to get your product out there. You're doing yourself a disservice if you're not doing everything possible to get your product in front of people. And it's a win-win if you're helping other people and helping yourself. And at first, when you're extremely small and nobody knows who you are, well, yeah, for a while it's going to seem like, yeah, I'm just retweeting other people's work. They may not be retweeting mine, but it's all about having that mindset of patience, right? You got to wait. It might take 6 months, it might take a year before people start recognizing you and making yourself recognizable. That's on you in the sense of, hey, get some eye capturing art, right? Have some really good tweets, figure out what garners the most engagement, right? Likes, etc. That's on you for sure. But getting the reach, you can only do so much. And that's why it's very important to network with people and also come across like a good person. I mean, it's also good to be a good person, obviously, but to actually, if you show that you care about other people as well in the scene, I guarantee you're going to be in a better position long term than if you do the opposite. So, I mean, when it comes to social media, things are going to be aggressive, nasty. That's just the way it is, especially when there's also celebrity mentality, when it comes to some fans of, when their favorite creator or something gets questioned or critiqued, they go on, full on, you know, defending mode, which ends up being, being on the offensive in many cases. And then it muddies the water, and the people that come in calm with tame observations over time, they get frustrated and they react differently than they would prefer to. And then it just ends up being a big shitstorm, essentially. So, I'm doing my best to not react when people come at me, attack me, or just block the people that are just filled with vitriol. But, in the end, again, I think creators should promote one another. In the indie scene, right, there's a reason why we want the mainstream to change. There's a reason why we wish it was the way it was, 20, 30 years ago. The only way that's going to change is by propping each other up, helping each other, so that all the fantastic projects, small or big, can actually get exposure, and then we can prove to the mainstream, hey, our products are as good or better, and eventually maybe leak into the mainstream and change the landscape of it. Right? That's what everyone's long-term goal should be, or hope should be. And we can all contribute by helping one another, lifting up the good projects, and supporting one another. And that's what I'm going to keep doing. I'm going to try to support people as much as I can on Twitter. I'm very limited on YouTube time on doing this. I hope to do more streams and promotional work on here over time, but I'm doing what I can, and I need to give back to the people that have helped me. There's so many people that have promoted me and helped me. Like I wouldn't feel good if I didn't do the same for them, at least to a small extent, you know. So thank you guys for listening. Please check out Vigilantes Creed. It is a story about a gargoyle and a team of vigilantes fighting terror in Detroit. It is on Indiegogo and Fund My Comic. I have full inventory of everything, and all orders ship within 2 business days. So please go check it out. The links will be below. You'll see some of the art you saw some of the art at the beginning of this video. So it gives you a little bit of a taste. And thank you for hearing my thoughts and my real talk. God bless.